fearless, you got fire. He's the spark that lifts you higher. You were made for joy, made for more. It's time to walk through heaven's door. The world is yours, take your place. Every dream aligned with grace. Overflow is your reward. Walk it out, abundance is yours. Oh, you can change it every time. Hope and faith, they realign. You're not stuck, not anymore. 'Cause girl, abundance is yours.
Welcome, everyone. It is Julie Lachlan-Hares, with the host of Divine Abundance, and I am so excited to have my good friend Dominic Piacentini here with me with R4 Wellness and Consulting. Dominic and I recently just did a really amazing retreat together and just really hit it off. I really enjoyed the segment that he provided all the attendees with, and I just felt really called and inspired to invite him. So Dominic, welcome to Divine Abundance.
Thank you for having me on. I'm happy to be here. And you're right, we were both a part of a staff at a really great retreat for entrepreneurs and business owners. And it was great to provide some sessions and some offerings, but also really great to network and to receive sessions from folks like yourself and some of the other people on our staff. So it was really cool.
Yeah, I gotta tell you, I think it was quite magical how it all came together. And I believe our good mutual friend Rayanne had just a great results from this retreat. And we're so excited and proud to be a part of that group that delivered on that. So what a fond memory we have, right? Dominic, I wanted to ask you, what inspired you to start R4 Wellness and Consulting? And tell me a little bit about who are the people that you serve?
So much like you, and we talked about this a bit in the hot seat coaching at the
Yeah.
retreat, I'm a bit of what we might call a serial entrepreneur, right? And so R4 Wellness and Consulting is my latest project and one that I'm most passionate about, I'd say. But I've, like you, been a part of other businesses, and I think that entrepreneurial spirit has kind of taken root in different ways, whether it was from owning a catering business and then a brick and mortar restaurant and becoming a realtor after having rental properties and doing flips to now really being passionate about this new branch of my businesses, R4 Wellness and Consulting. And I really have to say that I have gone through quite a personal transformation in the past, we'll call it now the better part of a decade, right? So someone who was always kind of a hyperachiever and involved in many things, but someone that carried a lot of stress, a lot of anxiety, didn't quite have the tools and resources at my disposal to really kind of maneuver through life and to deal with the challenges of life, whether it be personal and professional, in a way that was as healthy as they could have been. And over, the course of these last 10 or so years, I've just found so much benefit into my own personal journey and how I dove into different practices, whether it would be meditation or yoga or spiritual practices, breath work, cold plunging, you name it. If it's in the wellness space, I pretty much have tried it or it's on my list to do. And I really just found so much personal benefits to exploring these different practices or modalities and finding things that have worked for me to what I think make me a better person, a better professional, a better friend, all the above. And so it's become a passion to now kind of package some of these things together, these learnings, and to share them with others. I was previously in a very stressful role in one of my professional careers, and I really leaned on this idea of restorative practices, right? So the importance of relationships and building community and being part of a community. And then when things do go wrong, and they always inevitably will have conflict in life or disagreements, having structures and systems in place to repair the harm when harm is done. And so I really started doing some consulting work in the educational space. So I'm a career educator as well, as top of the serial entrepreneur. I've been in education for 20 years now. And what I've found most rewarding in these 20 years in education is relationships and helping to create culture, to create collaboration, and to repair harm when harm has been done. And so these two kind of areas of life, right? The restorative work and my professional career as an educator, and then my own personal journey on wellness and spirituality kind of came to a precipice where I started attending retreats in the wellness space, and then seeing like, you know what, I can do this too, and creating my own retreats and events that were focused on holistic well-being, both mind, body, and spirit. And then, hiring a coach, right? So Ryan, and our mutual connection,
Mhm.
is a coach. And I've hired her as my coach, and then seeing some of the benefits and hearing the way that she has structured our sessions kind of really inspired me to continue to dive into some of that work in my own lens. And I've really kind of created a niche, I think, for myself where I do one-on-one clients. I work with teams in professional spaces to create collaboration, to create common goals, to work on mindset, and to really start to shift, right, whether it's individually or collectively, our self-awareness as a group or as an independent person, and making small shifts in how we think and act can really have tremendous benefits for ourselves, professionally and personally, but in the team setting or in the corporate setting, can really start to shift performance. And ROI is the big thing, right? So if we're going to invest in training or in workshops or in coaching, what's going to be the return on the investment? And more often than not, when folks allow themselves to engage fully, the results are really just tremendous, right? We have greater collaboration. We can make better decisions. We can reduce conflict. We can respond to stress more effectively. We can be more pragmatic problem solvers, and we can move into, the zone of production in a way that we feel good about. And so, it's been a unique journey. If you would ask
Yeah.
me what I'd be doing, years ago, I would not have told you this kind of work, nor would I have told you that I'd be spending my free time engaging in these kinds of practices. But I'm really
Mhm.
pleased that life's journey has led in this direction, and I truly believe that it will be my full-time direction for
Mhm.
the remainder of my life because it's been so impactful.
I definitely see that for you, Dominic. I mean, the session that you led with us at the retreat was amazing, and I was so I feel honored and blessed because as a co-facilitator, I was able to see transformational change before my eyes in your session through the breath work, the deeper meditation that you took them through. It was just amazing and so inspiring to see. As a someone who's in a high stress profession in financial, as the CEO of my company, as well as, having two other entities that are under my domain, you deal with people that are in high stress environments all the time. And as people are looking to make a change, whether it's through lifestyle, nutrition, or just mindset and overall wellness, what are the first couple of steps that you would recommend someone consider that they're like looking to make a pivot and looking to have a healthier lifestyle, decrease their stress, or maybe what are some of the steps that you took to create this large pivot for you? Because it's like we can't chunk off too much at once, right? So it's like, how do you engage and how do you start that process?
So it's a great question. I think it could be different for anybody. And unfortunately for me, it took some um, large life challenges, some
Mhm.
external stressors that caused me to start noticing physical and emotional changes in me that I did
Mhm.
not want to have.
Yeah.
And those external pressures caused me to start to seek out alternative solutions or alternative ways to cope and to deal with and to move through life. I've created a framework that I use in all my programming now, whether it be with individuals or with teams, and I call it the DDRS framework. And the first D is detection, then it goes into disruption, and then reframing, and then surfing. And so the end goal is to learn how to be a better surfer. And not that we need to all be out there on the ocean riding waves, but literally riding the waves of life with
Mhm.
intentionality, knowing that there's going to be challenges no matter what our mindset is, no matter how healthy we are mentally, spiritually, and physically, life's going to come at us. And we have to be able to equip ourselves if we want to navigate efficiently and
Yeah.
effectively. with the skill sets. And so, to your question, I think the first piece is that detection, that first part of the framework, the first D,
Mhm.
and being self-aware, right? So being really honest with yourself in terms of where are the areas of my life that I'm experiencing challenge? Are
Mhm.
there things that I'm doing that are contributing to that challenge? Or those obstacles? And can I start to, even predict in my daily, weekly, or monthly calendar of life where I might start to really be triggered by some of these mindsets or some of these
Mhm.
circumstances, and then start to do things about it, right? And so we all have unique personalities, unique lifestyles, unique bodies, unique mindsets, but taking on something small, right? So something to disrupt that pattern, right? So if you're finding
Mhm.
yourself, and we all often get into these loops, right? Where we kind of wake up, we do the same thing, we have the same interactions, we respond in the same way to the same people, the same stimulus, and typically they're not positive ones, they're negative ones. And our
Yeah.
brains, I think, have research shows about 60 to 70,000 thoughts a day. And on average, most of us have about 85 to 90% of those thoughts are negative ones, reliving the hurts of the past or forecasting negative outcomes in the future.
Mhm.
And that impacts us, right? On a subconscious level, and even how we interact with our world, our clients, our families, our friends. And so being self-aware and being able to do something to disrupt that, right? So whether it be breath, a quick meditation, um, anything that you found, a push-up, whatever it is, right? So
Yeah.
disrupting that pattern in a
I did
way.
this cool thing, Dom, where I made my phone be out of my room. My phone is no longer in my room anymore, so it's really good. So I can't let myself off the hook, and I do my meditation and my prayer and my stretch before I touch my phone. That's been a huge change. It's a small, like you said, it's something small, but it's a big shift.
Yeah, and I would think we want to build the momentum, right? So our brains are wired, as I was mentioning, in that way typically, and we kind of get into this deep grooved pattern neurologically.
Mhm.
Like our old habits become our personal reality, and that's our personality. And we continue to do the same things over and over again. And so to create a shift in our lives and in the way that we live or perceive or interact with people or perform, we need to do things differently. And to do that, I would say in a small way, is to shift and break that pattern, that cycle of negative thinking, whether we're aware of it or not. And the first step is to really disrupt that pattern. So yes,
Mhm.
like having your cell phone in the different rooms so you can start your day with intentionality, a great thing to do. We can't all spend time in the morning, sitting cross-legged and doing a 2-hour meditation. I wish we could,
Mhm.
myself included, but we can do things in real time in response to or in prediction of certain
Mhm.
triggers. And a lot of the work that I do teaches people just some very simple tools to use to break that cycle. And if we break that cycle and get ourselves back to a homeostasis, so we pause that refractory period, so that, and not to get too nerdy on the science, but when we experience a stressor and our body goes into that loop of fight, flight, freeze, or fawn,
Mhm.
that's cortisol being released in our body in response to a stimulus. And we're not typically running for our lives, thankfully, but we're dealing with the client, we're dealing with the contract deadline, we're dealing with traffic, whatever it might be. And we release that stress hormone, but too
Mhm.
many of us stay in that stressful state and become dependent and live there, become chemically addicted to the chemicals of stress. And so the refractory period is a time between the stressor and then returning back to homeostasis. And
Mhm.
so these little tools can help us return back to homeostasis, to baseline, where we can be more pragmatic, we can be more grounded, more solutions based, and then use other tools in the reframe part of the framework to examine situations, right? So
Mhm.
every opportunity, whether it's a challenge or frustration, there can be a gift and a lesson to learn. And it sounds cliche, but it's so true. If we
It
can
is
look
true.
back at the happenings in our lives, what we thought was a frustration or a challenge or an obstacle, if we can fast forward to the following week, month, or even years later
Mhm.
and realize, oh, yeah, that happened actually for my benefit. And I'm thankful that that one brief period of discomfort actually happened because it led to these other things, we could
Yes.
really save ourselves so many hours, weeks, months, years of angst and anxiety by
Hmm.
just knowing and having this framework to snap out of that loop and to look for it with intentionality. Well, what are the lessons learned to be learned?
Hmm.
What is the benefit that I can take right now? How can I turn this challenge? And it might be uncomfortable, right? Things do happen. Not everything's going to be enjoyable, but where can I look to see how to turn this into a success or turn this into a positive situation as much as possible? And so I think we really just need to start, in my work, is teaching people the self-awareness and then tools to start literally rewiring their brain to a different
Hmm.
mentality and then
Yeah.
living in a way as such to kind of recreate those new pathways, those new connections in their brain to think and to approach life in a more proactive manner, allowing them to experience those benefits. And then when we turn into celebration, right? And so I'm still working on this. When I catch myself thinking in an old pattern or in an old way,
Mhm.
or getting stressed out and staying too long on that stress, and then I get out of it. And I do the reframe, I do the things I'm teaching people to do, and that things work out, we should celebrate, whether it's an internal smile, a fist bump, a pat on the back, whatever it is.
Yeah.
Taking the time to celebrate whatever that means to you in the moment
Mhm.
literally releases more chemicals in our body that we want to
Mhm.
become dependent upon. And it
Is
causes
that
us to want to do the thing over again that made us celebrate.
is that a piece that's hard for you, the celebration piece?
Yeah, so it's one
Mhm.
again. I teach this stuff, and I've had such a great growth. And in my journey, I have still, much
Mhm.
growth and room and work to do. But the celebration piece is one that I'm still working on making a regular practice. I get so focused, and we shared this together, I think, too, at the
Mhm.
retreat, is that like hyperachievers or serial entrepreneurs, we're always on to the next thing.
Yeah.
Well, we hit that benchmark or we accomplish that thing, what's next? Instead of, pausing even for a moment or two or a week or two and just being grateful and enjoying
Mhm.
the fact that you had a goal, things happened along the way, you took steps and actions, maybe some breaks happened in your favor, and you now achieve that goal.
Yes.
And be grateful because the frequency of gratitude is
Hmm.
going to attract that next best thing much
Yes.
quicker than just jumping to the next thing without pausing and being in reflection for a bit.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for, expanding on that. I think it's really helpful that people understand the framework, and how you actually use it to help others move past certain things. As you reflect on the past, like in the past year or couple of years, Dom, what has been something that you're like really proud of? Something that you either did, overcame, or was a part of, and you're like, this is something that brought me tremendous joy because it really resonated on a soul level.
I'd have to say it's the fact that I've made the choice to move into this work, right, with my consulting business,
Hmm.
to to do the real estate work, where I've been in a career in education for a long time, and that was kind of the thing, right? And even in the food business, that was on the side. And I made a choice to put myself out there to overcome the imposter syndrome, right? The worry about, well, who am I to share videos on social media about these things? Who am I to go and speak in front of, corporations and audiences? Who am I to, coach teams or individuals on certain things? And overcoming that fear of not being good enough or qualified enough, and trusting the fact that I have a plethora of experience and I have uh, gifts to give. And what's been rewarding is looking back on these last, let's say, like I said, 2 years, and the goals that I've set, they have been met. And I sometimes, like I just mentioned, am always looking to the next thing. And well, it's not good enough, so what's next? And if I can pause in a chat like this and look back at this year and the year prior, I have really met all those goals and the things that I'm trying to do to grow my business, which is a service-based business. So I always tell my clients it's twofold, right? It's funny how things work. When I'm offering a workshop or I'm offering guidance in a small group or a one-on-one session, I'm not always, the end all be all expert, but it's funny how, or ironic, I should say, when I'm giving some suggested considerations or some perspective, so often what I'm sharing with someone who's receiving is exactly what I need to hear myself. And I'll be humble and say, you know what, thank you, Julie, for
Hmm.
bringing this up today because me coaching you through this was actually what I needed to hear myself in this other part of my life. And
Yeah.
that's really been a big piece, right? So no matter what I'm doing, I want to be in service to others, right? And so it's been really great to be able to grow a real estate business or to grow my consulting business in the sense that I'm able to provide service more to folks who are
Mhm.
in need, right? Whether it's buying a home, selling a home, or working through personal challenges, or having
Sure.
a team work to accomplish greater coherence or greater performance, and
Hmm.
seeing the impact of this work. It's great to get compensated monetarily, but it's really great to also at the same time hear people's feedback, to see the genuine excitement that they experience, to witness transformation and growth.
Yeah.
And I can't see a life for myself where I'm not a part of that, both for myself and for those I'm serving. I always want to be a part of helping people in service, and growing in a direction of positivity and growing in a direction of moving our lives in a great direction.
Yeah, that transformation piece that gets me every time, and I'm like, oh, I know this is where I'm meant to be, using my own personal story that I'm not afraid to share with others about, overcoming some really tough things in life and using it to help others, not being ashamed or afraid to share that is just something that just fills me up. Like it, when we come with our truth, we make more space for others to come with, show up with their truth. And I think that there's a lot to be said for that. So thanks for sharing that with us, Dominic. The other question I was going to ask you, and this is a question I ask everybody, it really kind of peels back many layers, and I'll give you an example of it with my own self. So I'll give you a minute to think about it. If you could go back and tell your younger self anything, one lesson that you've learned that you're like, wow, wish I could go back and tell my 18-year-old self this, maybe could have, cut them off from doubt and pain or years of things that they didn't have to struggle doing. For me, it's that you're never alone, that there is a connection to whatever you believe, whether it's God or the divine or whatever your higher calling is. But for me, it's like that person, that guiding force is always right there for you. And there was many times in my life, I'm 18, 20, 21, 22 years old, where I felt really alone. And so like, I wish I could go back and just share that with my younger self. But is there something for you that really rings true that you wish you could go back and share with the younger version of you?
I don't have time for all the lessons I want to share with my younger self, but
Your
I
biggest
one,
one, your
one
biggest
is
one. Yeah,
standing
because
up today
we've
that
got
I
just
wanted
a
to share.
we got just like another like 7, 8 minutes, but yeah.
I would say that the blessings that are meant for you will never pass you by, right? They're
Hmm.
going to always be there for you. And what that means to me is that, again, when we experience life's challenges, things break in a way that we hope they didn't, when the obstacles show up, that we can see that there's a very large likelihood that it's happening for us. And to have the skill sets, right? The tools, the mindsets to be able to accept what is and then move forward in a way that's going to be productive, right? To not wallow and worry, to not forecast the future in a negative way, and be anxious. I would tell my younger self to use the tools that I've now learned and use myself and share with clients, with him, and to use these to allow yourself to get to a space where you can better deal with the stress of life. I've always done so by more effort, right? If I work harder, or if I try more, or if I get better,
Hmm.
um, these things will change. And that's a great skill set to have. But when you rely only on that, we just live in this exhausting cycle, and we don't allow ourselves the calm and the peace and the clarity that if we just took the time to arrive at, it would very likely, in most cases, dramatically speed up the timeline in which we want to see the change, or to accomplish the goal, or to have the experience. And
Hmm.
so I would tell that younger version of myself to use these skill sets, like the DDRS framework, like the mindset work, like some of the wellness practices, and allow myself to pause and to look for the silver lining, or to look for the lesson and the blessing in every challenge and obstacle, and then to move forward with intentionality and greater confidence, as opposed to what I did for too long, which was try and outwork it or be stressed about it or worry and anxiety about the future, and just really be grounded in the present, because the presence is the most generous moments, only one we have. And so I can control right now. And so giving myself those skill sets and those tools to be more intentional and in control of the right now, and less about the past and less about the future.
That's awesome to stay very grounded in the present. I think that's a tremendous lesson to share with not only your younger self, but with others. As you think out into the next several months, the next 6 months, let's say, what's something that you're really excited about that's on the horizon for you and your business?
So I feel like this business, this consulting in particular, is on the precipice of a major year of growth, right? And so I'm getting inching closer and closer. I really believe that there are some really large corporate clients in the near future. There's some that I'm in talks with right now, looking obviously to grow my work, but to expand my impact, right? And so to be able to utilize some of my programming and workshops in a space where there are teams of people who need this work, and to see it transform individuals, but the performance of companies and their teams is a really exciting forecast that's going to be happening. I'm calling it into existence in the near future. And on a more micro level, my girlfriend and I are going to be creating a wellness and yoga retreat in the Catskill Mountains in February for a weekend. And that's going to be at a beautiful space. We're going to be offering all kinds of different delves into wellness practices. And I'm just excited to, again, whenever I go to retreats, right? Like we went to one that was more for entrepreneurs and business owners. This is open to anybody. But I always find myself, whether I'm offering at the retreat or running it myself, just being in those spaces and engaging in those community practices is a great reset. And it's a great
Yeah.
way to kind of get back grounded and to move forward. And so I'm excited to be a part of it and to share the experience with our guests.
Where can our viewers find that information for the yoga retreat? Would it be on your Facebook page? Would it be
Yep, it'll be on my LinkedIn. It'll be on my Instagram. It'll be in the
great?
bio as its own link. It'll be
Okay.
on my website in the near future as well. So we're just actually going to ready to launch that this week, and that'll be a great opportunity, I think, for anyone interested, whether you do yoga every day or not at all. There are so many offerings at this retreat. No matter what your desires are, you're going to leave feeling refreshed. You're going to leave feeling relaxed and a bit more clear on what you need to do in your life.
Oh my gosh, the Catskills are so beautiful. I remember, when I was working for the big corporations, I had that as part of my territory, and it's just it's really a healing space. So I can just imagine a yoga retreat there would be amazing. So congratulations to both of you. That's exciting. Dom, it has really been my pleasure to have you on today. And can you believe 30 minutes went like that, didn't it? I know my show is not that long. This has been very impactful. Is there any last message that you'd like to put out to our viewers, or anything that you'd like to share about what's next for you in this next year?
Yeah, I mean, if you'd love to connect, if you have questions, if you want some advice, if you want to talk about possibilities, or even just to chat, I love meeting new people. I love sharing what I've learned, what's helped me. And if I could do that to somebody else, whether it's in a official capacity or just in a networking conversational capacity, I'm always open to chat and to meet new people. So please reach out. Please, check me out on socials. Please email me, call me, whatever it is. I am so eager to help people, to collaborate with others, and just to continue this work of supporting myself, supporting others, and kind of lifting this collective consciousness of our people, and making the place that we all live a more productive and helpful place to be.
Thank you so much. Just for all of our viewers, all of Dominic's information will be in the show notes. He was kind enough to provide a bio, some information about how you can reach out to him. So I will make sure that our producer does get that in our show notes. And Dominic, thank you so much. It was a pleasure to have you on Divine Abundance today.
Thanks, Julie. It's great to be
Thanks.
here.
Have a great day. Thank you, friend.
You got purpose, you got fire. Here's the spark that lifts you higher. You were made for joy, made for more. It's time to walk through heaven's door. The world is yours, take your place. Every dream aligned with grace. your reward. Walk it out, abundance is yours. Oh, you can change it every time. Hope and faith, they realign. You're not stuck, not anymore. 'Cause girl, abundance is yours. This is your Prospera era, where dreams align with grace, abundance flows like rivers. You've stepped into your place. Rise, reign, and remember, you were born to shine. Welcome to your moment, Prospera, it's time.
We hope you enjoyed today's show on Prospera TV Network. Make it a point to visit us on YouTube and catch all your favorite shows anytime you want. Interested in hosting a show of your own? Or advertising your business on our network? Contact Elena Rodriguez.